Oh, hey, Uplifters. I think we're live now. Let me check. Let me see if we're actually live. I think we are. So, hey, if Uplifters, thank you so much for coming back to our channel. Welcome to part 3 of Undealt with Trauma Ruins Relationships. So, yes, part 3, we are doing some more because we haven't said everything we have left to say on the matter yet. Well, Sean is looking for some photo. Let's see, where are we going? Can I start with
introduce the video?
I just introduced the video.
No, say what we've been talking about. This is part 3. Some people just not watching for the first time. So describe what we've been talking about.
Okay.
Break it down.
Okay, so undealt with trauma ruins relationships. That's kind of the general basis of the video, the last 2 videos. But in those videos, we've talked about dealing with your trauma. We've talked about as far as having your partner, your spouse, how they, if it is the right person, they will be equipped and they will be able to and they will want to be there for you and through that trauma and help you through that trauma. But also that they can't do it for you, they can't want it more than you can. You have to be the one that wants the change. And for anyone who is with someone and you know there's a change you want to see in your partner, my best advice to you would not be to scold them or tell them what that change is or how they need to change. My best advice I could give to you is to pray on that, to pray to God and ask that He changes their heart on the matter, that He opens their ears so they can hear what they need to hear in order to want that change, that He removes the scales from their eyes so they're able to see what they need to see in order for that change to happen. Because until they change inside, there's nothing that you can physically do. You can't make them change. You can't do anything. All you can do is pray and let God do the rest, and not expect an immediate change, because it's not going to be immediate. It could take a couple of years before you even see the change, but to keep praying, to keep living by faith and not by sight. So even if you're not necessarily seeing a change yet, you keep doing your part and what you're supposed to do. And God will do the rest. What else have we been talking about in these videos? We've talked a little bit about being equally yoked, and what that might look like. I know Sean said earlier in one of the videos that lots of people will want to find or be with someone that's just like them. And it's probably not what being equally yoked will be, because you two will be at odds with each other if you are the same. You're going to be butting heads with each other. So being equally yoked is being a complement to one another, so that wherever the other person is weak, you are strong, so that together you are stronger. And let's see, what else can I add? That as far as healing and dealing with these traumas, one of the very first questions that we asked was, should Christians looking to be married be fully healed before being married? Which we both agree is a no and not really possible, I'd say, because there's always something to work on. There's always more. There's layers to you, like they say in Shrek, like an onion. There's layers. Yes, they say that in Shrek. Anyway,
She's never watched a movie in her life.
I
so I
have
don't know why
watched
she.
all 3 Shreks. Okay, I watched them.
Has there been 3? You sure
Yes.
there ain't been 5?
It's 3. They're working on 4 or something like that. I've watched all 3.
Okay. Okay. You did a great job. You done?
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank
Now I have a
you.
use for you. Now you could be like a host that they got on ESPN hosting the show. And you just, you just do the intro stuff. That's the use for you. Okay. Because she ain't even talking in the videos, man. It's just been me talking the whole time. Anyway, let's go to the comments. Let's keep on going. All right. So Amber, man, she said something real powerful right here. The Holy Spirit, Jesus, our first partners belong before we, yeah, there should be our first partners before we link up with somebody. So the Holy Spirit and Jesus and God, right? And so that's what I was saying in the first video. Like, if we don't love ourselves and love God, we can't love ourselves, right? If you struggle with loving yourself like me, and like you struggle with hating yourself, and you feel like you're not worth anything because of your achievements or because you're not getting all the girls in the world, getting all the men in the world, you're putting your faith in the wrong things. And like, even me, like, I struggle with this. Like, I know I'm saved. I was saved since Saturday, September 4th, 2010. It's not my works because it's a work of God. Like, God already told me I'm bound for the promised land. But like I was saying earlier in the video, like the question was, like Maya said, does a person, seeking to be married need to be with somebody who's healed or complete already? Or can they be with somebody that's still working on being healed and complete? And like for me, like, most people, like, you're gonna have things, you're gonna have things you need to work on. You have things that you haven't gotten over. You're gonna have unresolved, undealt with childhood traumas, relationship traumas, and none of us can get away from that. And so there's always something to learn. There's always something to grow, an area to grow in, and nobody has arrived, right? And so the best way to do that is with God. The first and greatest commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, right? Accept his love. Second commandment is love your neighbor as you love yourself. You can't properly love your neighbor until you love yourself, right? And that's what Amber's saying. The Spirit is a great revealer. He is a bridegroom, our head, right? That's our mirror. Maya said in the first video that your spouse is a mirror, right? And that's what's crazy. Like, when a man leads, the woman follows where the man leads them. And so when it comes to a relationship or a marriage, like, wherever the man leads the relationship, that's where it's gonna go. So like, if a relationship's stale, if a relationship's not going anywhere, if a relationship is without purpose, it's because of the man, right? And a woman will only mirror what the man does. That's what's funny. Like, if you look at a real healthy relationship, the woman mimics what the man does. And vice versa. If it's a toxic relationship, the woman mimics what the guy does. Like, a lot of women be like, well, I don't cheat like him. Like, I don't be chasing men like he be chasing women. Like, see, you're missing out on what the root of it is. Y'all are both ugly towards each other. Y'all both don't care about each other. Y'all both don't put in the time to get to know each other and learn from each other and grow together. Like, you both are selfish. So if the man's selfish, the woman's gonna be selfish. Let's talk about the roots of the problem. I talked about in the first video how everybody's a tree. But now everybody goes to the root of the problem, the root of the problems of why we do what we do. They never get to the underneath the surface of the layers of who we are, right? And they never face who they really are.
Or nourish the roots. Like, if you let the roots die, eventually the tree is going to die. You're going to look like the roots. Whatever you do, let happen to the roots is what you're going to look like on the outside.
All right, Siri. That's her nickname, by the way. That was good. You held that in, huh? That's what you want to say for the first video. It's just all coming out.
Sure.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, guys, you gotta nourish everything about you. Like, the question is, like, do you love yourself? Like, have you fully embraced who you are? Like, have you accepted who you are? Like, and I mean the good, bad, and ugly, like the best, like everything, all of it. If you don't nourish all of you, undealt with trauma will lead to ruin in other relationships in your relationship. That's why the question is, like, do you have good relationships? Do you have a good marriage? If you have a bad one, my argument is because you have undealt with trauma and you haven't faced it. So like, I like when Amber said, like, you know, Jesus is our mirror, right? But our relationships, like, if it's a godly relationship, it's a mirror. It shows you exactly where you are in God and where you need to go, right? I told you guys, like, the only reason why I'm going on this journey, like, through loving myself instead of hating myself and all that stuff, is so I don't take it out on my son. See, this is a perfect promo where I was going, right? So I should have shared this in the first video, like, to start it off, but this is our son right here in Maya's belly right now. She's pregnant. She's due on November 26th right now. And this was about 2 weeks ago now. It's October 20th. This is Zion on October 8th, 2024. So this is our son, Zion Emmanuel Jenkins. We're really excited. So Zion still baking in the oven, Maya's stomach. So this was him at 33 weeks. And yeah, so we can actually see what he looks like. This was him at 29 weeks. So we could barely see him really. Yeah, right. When he was hiding a lot. Like, you see how he's making that fist right here? He was blocking himself from them taking any photos of his face or anything. He kept on giving them a hard time, which he normally does. But they were able to get some pretty good photos right here. And honestly, who do you think Zion looks like? You think Zion looks like me as a baby? Or do you think Zion looks like Maya as a baby? Right? Here goes Maya as a baby. And then here goes me right here. Right? And so, yeah, this is another photo of Maya. I try to get one of me. It's in your wallet. I give it to you. Remember the other baby photo of me? Yeah. Yes. So that's why I was trying to look at mine. But the reason why I'm even going on this journey of like self, allowing God to determine my worth instead of like allowing the women that I get and the attention from women I get, and just being called sexy and all that stuff. Like, instead of letting that determine my worth, letting God do it. Because like I always thought I was ugly. Like, this is my grandfather right here. And if you really look, you guys can barely tell, like, because it's just hard to see on the screen. But I actually look like my grandfather when I was a baby. And if I'm being honest, when I was a baby, I used to always cry anytime. And I still remember. I still remember when I was first in his arms as a baby. Like, that's probably my earliest childhood memory. Like, totally forgot that's my earliest. But I remember being a baby and they put me in his hands. Like, I just started crying because I took a photo. I mean, this is my journal. I used to journal all the time when I was little. In high school and college. I stopped right after college when I graduated. When I broke up with my ex in 2018, stopped journaling. So this is me in cartoon form, and then this is my grandpa in cartoon form. So as you can see, my grandpa got like a mole on his forehead, and it's huge. So like when I was a baby and they put me in his arms, I cried because like, babies and kids, like when they see something like off with a person, it's just, just some kind of defect. Like, they're real harsh. And that's how I was as a baby. I just cried. But like, what's funny, I look just like my grandpa, man. Like, when I was a baby, like most of my cousins and siblings did. Well, my cousins, I can't say my siblings really looked like him, but I did. So I always thought he was, that's big. That's me to say. I always thought he was unattractive. So like, if Zion looks like me, I'm going to take that out on him. You see what I'm saying? And like, I shouldn't do that. That's a trauma that I need to deal with. And so some of the things I was going to say to you guys is, undealt with trauma, like I've been saying throughout all the videos, undealt with trauma leads to us traumatizing other people, traumatizing the people we love, like, and really hurting them. And so, let me read some points I didn't really get to. So like, one of my points I had was, there's no point in establishing relationships with others if you refuse to deal with your traumas. I'm going to say this one too, because they go together. There's no point in establishing a good relationship if you are not able to deal with your traumas. And I only say that because if you haven't dealt with your traumas, you're not going to have a good relationship. It can only be good for so long. Like, your relationships are only a reflection of the work that you've done with yourself. So like, I want to ask everybody a question, like, who are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? So who's those 5 people you spend the most time with, the best, they know you the best, and you put in the most time and the most work with them. Like, who are those people? Your 5 is a reflection of your goals, your aspirations, your purpose, your mission, your state of life, where you're at. So it could be your parents, it could be your siblings, it could be your friends, it could be your uncles, aunties, just whoever. You can't make it up. Really be honest and guess who's in your 5. Because your 5 dictates what your future is going to be, what your goals are. And my whole point is, if you don't like your 5 and something's off with it, you need to change it, right? And the question is, like, are those relationships healthy? That's even going even deeper into the roots. Like, are those relationships even what you want them to be? Like, do they make you a better person? Do they make you complete? right? Do they help you with your traumas, help you deal with your traumas? Like, because honestly, that's what your relationship should be doing. Your relationships should be making you better. It should be making you improve. It should lead to it should lead you to grow. Yeah, that's what Maria said in the comment that we read in the second video. So like, yeah, so like we should be establishing relationships for a purpose, for a reason, right? To better ourselves, not to take steps back. So most people, I would say, even most people have relationships with people who don't really benefit them. They actually make them worse. So like, there's a scripture verse. I'm gonna save it, but it goes with this series with dealing with undealt trauma. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Evil company corrupts good habits," and that verse is so powerful because, and I'm spoiling it right now. I'm doing a whole video on it, right? So like, evil company corrupts good habits. You think company means people, but aren't you your own neighbor too? So I said what the second commandment was in the second video: love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you know you can't get away from you. You're always around you. Everywhere you go, you know who's with you? You. Like, you are your reality. You can't get away from you. You know how many people try to get away from themselves? And honestly, I do that. Lately, if I was to give somebody advice like to how to get to the root of their traumas and their issues so they can stop bleeding on the people they come into contact with and stop sabotaging relationships that they've been in. If I was to give them advice, I would say like, first deal with your, like, really take time to get to know yourself. Really take time to get away from the distractions. Like, we live in an age to where we're just distracted, and that's what the media does. They just want us to be consumers and just consume everything. Watch basketball, watch football. Know the stats in the basketball players' lives better than we know our own. Like, know what they should be doing with their lives and their purpose better than we know our own. Like, so like, and that's just with sports. Like, let's talk about Netflix and Hulu. Like, there's so many stuff you can stream and binge watch. There's so much stuff to watch. Like, there's so many shows we still trying to watch, like Agatha and just anything Marvel superheroes. You still gotta watch the Justice League Crisis on Earth, the third one. I'm excited for that. But just so much stuff like we gotta watch. But like, so many people are just watching stuff instead of watching themselves. Like, like, how well do you know you? How well have you got in tune with why you make the decisions that you made, why you make the choices that you made? Why do you know your purpose? Do you know your mission? Like, because that's another thing too, guys. Like, if you don't know yourself, you're not going to make the right decisions. If you don't know if you don't know yourself, how are you going to know what you really want? Like, a lot of times people are so distracted with everything else, right? That has nothing to do with their purpose, nothing to do with themselves, right? That when it comes time, like, this is how I am too. So this is just a testimony. When it comes time to like being in a quiet place and being where there's not a lot of noise or distraction, they can't function. It's their worst nightmare. And once my dad preached a good sermon one time. He said it wasn't a sermon. He needs to preach a sermon specifically on it. But he said it a lot. He said like, if a person is scared to be by themselves and like be alone with their thoughts, then like like well, I forgot how he said it, but he basically just said like, get a person alone and just let them like have no distractions or anything. Just leave them in a room by themselves where they have to deal with their thoughts. Like, that's their worst nightmare. And that's how it is for some people. Some people, like, their worst nightmare is having to face their demons, having to face their traumas, having to face their past, and like really reflect on like, why do I think I'm ugly? Why was I molested? Why was I abused? Like, really face those childhood traumas face to face, and tell your younger self that voice that's always in your head as an adult, that's always negative, saying you're not enough, saying you'll never be worthy unless this happens, that says like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, like that negative self-talk that you've always been taught to say to yourself because somebody else told you that about themselves. I mean, told you about told you that was you when it was really them. Hurt people, and now you done accepted that as your story, right? As your voice, when it's not true. Like, I know I'm not ugly. There's no way, right? I've seen some people, and I look better than them. But like, because I was called ugly by Riley Elderman, it's really him. And my siblings, they call me ugly, but they just siblings. Like, I look just like them. Like, they can't call me ugly. But I just been called ugly by people, and like, it really traumatized me. It messed me up. And I still call myself ugly to this day. But like until I accept and embrace who I have been created to be and who God specifically made me to be, like this is me, right? This is who I am. Like I need to love me before anybody else can love me. And if I don't love me, how can anybody else really love me? Like Vincent actually said something. I'm gonna read what Vincent said. No, Amber said it too, right? She said love starts with you or something. I think it was Amber. Let's finish saying what she was saying. Yeah, that's our mirror, and that's how we know what I changed. We got to dig deep in our relationship with Christ. No, it wasn't that one. Somebody said like, yeah, it's that one. That one. All right, yeah. So Amber said, "Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. If we are not one by ourselves, how can we be one for our household? Like, if you're not fully whole and fully healed, you can't make other people fully healed and fully whole. So like a marriage and a relationship is all about two people coming together to make each other better, make each other whole, like help people. Like my goal with Maya, it's always been my goal, even before I did this series. Like I knew as a believer, like, and because I love her, I want to help her through any lies anybody has ever told her. Like, if anybody's ever called her, somebody called her Dilly Dope Boy or whatever. Like, yeah, like when she was real little in sixth grade, right? So they called her fat, like, but she's not fat, like, so she struggles with that, and her parents said some stuff too, like, but well, your mom, all right, but like, yeah, some people said some stuff, right, and they say stuff just because they're hurt, right, just to say stuff because that's how the world operates, and it negatively affected her, right? So it's my job as a man to like build her back up. Like in the Bible, it says build up each other, right? Edify each other, give each other what you need. We're supposed to do that with our neighbors, right? With ourselves. But we dang sure supposed to do that with our spouse, like build each other up, not tear each other down. So like love is about yeah, like giving the other person what they need, telling them what they need to hear, like really being what they need, right? What they always been waiting on and prayed for. So like if we aren't hold ourselves, so Amber said if we are not one ourselves, so if we're not that, right? That whole, that healed person, like how would that negatively affect our household? Because that's what it's going to do. It's going to negatively affect our household. And like tweeted today. I tweeted today. Healed people love differently, right? I put that on my Facebook page as well. Sean Christopher Jenkins. My Twitter page, Trouble Don't Last, by the way, right? So healed people love differently. Healed people think differently. Healed people operate differently, man. So like they hear differently, right? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So like, yeah, man. So like that's how we need to operate from a healed place. So that's the question. Are we operating from a healed place or a hurt place? Right? And we're called to be the temple of God. The temple of God, are you kidding me? What does that entail? That entails everything that being healed means. That means being honest, living in truth, embracing and accepting who we are in Christ. Like that's so many things. Like not lying, not deceiving ourselves, examining ourselves. Like that's scripture verse. Examine ourselves to test to see if you're in the faith. Like, and that's in every area of life, not just with the Bible, not just with preaching the Bible, not just with all that stuff. Like we need to, Paul said we got to examine ourselves to see if we're in the faith, right? Test ourselves to see if we're in the faith. That means to really, take inventory of where we're at in every season of life. Like take inventory of, how we are individually, because a successful and a great marriage is when two great individuals come together. If an individual isn't whole in a relationship, just one, it can negatively affect the relationship. A great marriage takes two individuals being good individually to come together to be good together. That's a great marriage. So, like, that takes work. So that's the question. Are you whole? Are you good? Or is it well with your soul? Or have you been hiding some stuff, being in denial about, living in denial about some stuff? And if you have, it's going to negatively come out in some kind of way. And I told you guys, like, there's trauma that I have experienced as a child. I just told you some of them. And if I don't face it, eventually he's going to have the same problem. I got to be honest with you guys. I grew up in a white community. I've always been taught white's the best. If you ain't white, you ain't right. I just been told stuff like that. I did not grow up in a black community and been around black people who really like love themselves. I grew up with black people who were in a white community like me who were told black sucks. Like, y'all are the scum of the earth. Like, and that's how the world treats us. And that's the history books too that we taught in a white community. Black history starts in slavery. I did not know anything. I still don't. I don't know where I come from. A white person like from Africa. Oh, okay. That's half answer. That's like the devil. Give a half truth. Tell me everything. Tell me about Mansa Musa, the richest man that ever lived. Tell me about some real successful black people, before slavery. Now, where were black people before slavery? Like, tell me that. Like, white people can't tell me that. So, man, you guys see what I'm saying, man. Like, there's no point in establishing a relationship with anybody if you aren't good yourself. Like, true love, a great marriage, you got this on? Like, a great marriage can only be established when you really know yourself, right? So you guys see what I'm saying.
Or if you're willing to do the work. So let's say we're both not where we'd like to be, but we both, at least before we got married, started our journeys. Like we started on the path of healing before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say you have to be completely whole, but you at least need to have started the process. You need to be willing to go through that ugly process. It's not a pretty one, and it can be hard. It can be uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to go through that to get to the other side.
Yeah. Here go another question I got for you guys too. I just want to finish some of the stuff that I didn't get to in the video. I want to read the comments, but that's gonna take us forever. Like I may go back. It depends. All right. So another question I have for you guys is marriage a place where you are supposed to get over trauma, right? And I asked earlier too, like, what does it mean for a person to be healed or whole? What does it look like? All right. So that my answer is to be for that question is to be everything that Christ died for you to be. Like to really literally be Christ on the earth. And so for a man especially, like we're supposed to be Christ in our households. As Christ is for the church. That's what a man in a marriage is for their household, right? That's what's crazy about Amber's comment. Like she talked about the household and how we're supposed to be the Lord's sanctuary. Like the whole house is the sanctuary of God, and just our individual bodies is the sanctuary of God. And so we need to take care of our temple. You're not taking care of your temple if you have negative thoughts, negative self-talk, negative mindset towards your experiences and towards yourself. Like you have to accept the good and the bad and love the good and bad. You gotta be patient with the good and bad. You gotta be kind with the good and bad. You gotta always hope for the best with the good and the bad. You gotta always think about what's good, admirable, noble, pleasing, and what's praiseworthy with the good and the bad of when it comes to you, whatever your name is. So I gotta do that with Sean Christopher Jenkins. So if we don't do that, how can we do it for everybody in our households? And as a man of the household, it starts with me. So like if I don't do it, why would she do it? She can't. Because I'm leading. Right? And what's crazy is you guys don't understand. Like, I'm gonna do a whole series called like Men Are Supposed to Lead or something like that. Like, Maya literally mimics everything I do. She's always has. It's crazy. Like, I'm trying to think of help me with some examples if I can't think of it. But like one way she mimics me, for example, is my at least with communication. Like we both know, like because honestly, she was only did the other day because she's pregnant. Like she never talked to me in an agitated way. Like you know what I mean? Like an agitated voice. Like I did the other day with you when I was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier today, actually. But like I remember when I was with my ex, I always talked with her like 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 responded to her in an agitated way because of life, right? But like even before we got together, like I practiced like not doing that with my mom and my sister because how a man treats their mother is how they're gonna treat their spouse, right? And then how they treat the women in their lives, like their aunties and mainly their sister and mom. That's how they're gonna treat their spouse. Same thing for the wife. Like how the wife treats their father, that's how they're gonna treat their spouse. So like with mine, I wanted to make sure like I don't talk in an agitated way or irritated way. I don't do it perfectly with my mom and sister, but like with mine, I have like I'll give myself that. Like I made sure to not speak in the same tone that I'm talking right now. Like you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you guys can tell I'm animated, passionate, but like I try to like dim it down. Like when I'm talking to her, especially when I'm mad. Like especially when I'm mad, like that's when I really have to like I go lower. Like more reserved. Like try to be. Unless I'm like really mad at something, it's not her. Like then I explode. Like but you see what I'm saying? Like my tone with her, like that because my tone with her is like it is. Her tone with me is the same way. Like and you guys know she's quiet. She don't talk. So, but anyways, yeah, like that's already set in stone. I remember one time like when we first started talking, we had like some type of disagreement, and this was like in the first 2 months to three. I would say 3 months of us talking. We had some disagreement, and she hung up on me. I remember I called right back. Like we ain't gonna do that in this relationship. Like I said we ain't gonna let the sun go down and be angry at each other. I said when we have a disagreement or something like that, we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna fix it. We're gonna if we can't fix it, then we're gonna be okay at least with that conversation, like ending, and then figure it out, when we can. Like, but hopefully the next day. But like, we're gonna make sure we're good together and at peace with each other, just from the start, right? So like, that's some of the ways I led and I set the tone of relationship. Like, she ain't gonna yell at me, I'm not gonna yell at her. I'm not gonna yell at her in public. Like you mean it? Like you kidding me? So like the way you lead as a man is the way the relationship's gonna go. That's what I was trying to say. You set the tone for the relationship. The relationship will go as far as you go as a man. And for women, the relationship will go as far as the man leads it to go. It's all dictated by the man. If a man's playing the games and sleeping around and stuff like that, he's already telling you how the relationship's gonna be. If that's not what you want, that's what you're gonna deal with until he wants to change. And it's on him. Like she said in the first video. So like, yeah, did you want to answer that question? What does it mean for a person to be healed or whole? So and that's another way to answer that is like a person just needs to be in the state and in the place that God wants them to be at mentally. Right? So like mentally, like from your traumas, like I talked about a case where a woman was abused and raped all during her childhood, multiple times by her father, her uncles, and random men that her dad sold her to for money. Um, and just how that negatively affected her in her adulthood. So like how is she gonna receive healing and wholeness from her childhood trauma, her abuse as a kid, and being raped? That's not easy. And that's how some people's traumas are. Like it takes so much work to be at a good place of just accepting, like, all their experiences, their mindset, their self-talk, their strengths and weaknesses, and everything that just makes them them. Right? And everybody's story of what makes you you is different. But the whole point is like God didn't give you your life for no reason at all. It's for a purpose. So like how you look, your experiences, your gifts, your strengths, your weaknesses, like it all makes you beautiful. And until you think that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, one of a kind, different, set apart, right? Until you think that you're not condemned and you're accepted by Christ. So there's no reason for you to live in condemnation and damn yourself and life sentence yourself to all these negative experiences. Like until you free yourself and realize you're free, you can't be free and live free. And your relationships will suffer.
All of what you just said for yourself.
Well, that was good.
Because you are fearfully and wonderfully. Oh my gosh. You are beautiful.
I don't even know what I said. I was just talking.
So I want you to remember that for yourself. You can go tell yourself in the mirror later.
Okay. Thanks. Let's read some more comments. Like, let's get through this. But first, I want to see what else I said. Like, I want to make sure I get through all my points. Say what you want to say. You got anything? All right, so here goes another point I got, guys. I'm gonna tweet all this stuff too. I haven't tweeted it yet or posted it as a status on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Threads and all that stuff. But another point I'm gonna say is, your relationships will improve as you face, confront, and deal with trauma. So your relationships will only go as far as you deal with your traumas, right? Ooh, that's good. And so deal with your traumas before they become the traumas of the people you love. Deal with your traumas before they cause you to lose the people you love. Deal with your traumas before your traumas ruin everything. I said that was the title of today's video. Undealt with traumas will ruin relationships. I just said ruin relationships, but this title had to be short. But yeah, undealt with traumas will ruin relationships. They do ruin relationships. They destroy everything good that God sends your way. So like, the people in your life are good. It's the negative experiences that we have that can make us bad. So like, yeah. So become better instead of bitter. If you're just gonna be bitter and you hold on to the pain and the suffering that you have endured and the hurt, that's not operating how God wants you to operate, right? So, yeah, I said all my other things I want to say now. So, all right. So we read Amber's first comment. Let's read her second comment. She said, "What God unites and join together, no man can tear apart." Did did God join y'all together or you? That's the main question for Christian couples today. Yeah, yeah, and that's how that's how we know. Like we know we're together in this God's work. Because just like Vincent said, like the question is, can a person be married to somebody who isn't made whole or complete and just hasn't arrived? Like, man, God bless me and mine with each other the second time around. Like, we both know we missed out the first time around, like from both perspectives, not just mine. So, like, yeah, you should explain that. Like, did you think about me at all after the first time? Mine don't ever think. So, like, she didn't think about me.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't say it was in like the same way, or maybe not as frequently, just because it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. I kind of forgot, and I hadn't seen you in so long. I hadn't texted you in so long, so I didn't even think I still had your number. So you were kind of out of sight, out of mind for a while. Like after you graduated, and you were in North Carolina doing your own thing and stuff. Like you're just kind of out of sight, out of mind. But I mean, looking back, yeah, I know I missed out, and I wish I had left the previous situation sooner. It's like when the first time around, I was like on the edge. I was on the cusp of leaving. Like I was like almost like at my wits end there, but I hadn't just fully broken and fully just been like, I can't do this anymore and I have to go. But I was still trying. So until I got to that place, I couldn't continue. But even at the library, I knew much better choice. Were way better than what I had already.
She thought about me. That's all that matters. It's just saying she thought about me. All right. So yeah, the question is like Amber said, for most couples, like, did God join you together or did you? So like for me and Maya, like just everything lined up. It was all a work of God. Like it's not something we forced. And when I say that, me and Maya had the same goals when it came to a marriage. Had the same goals. Well, not with kids really, but we both wanted kids. So at least it was there. But then like because I led her, she was like, "Yeah, we can have more kids because like I trust you. Like I know you'll take care of me. I know you protect me. I know you care about my body. Like so like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't have to change anybody. Like the right person for you. It's not even compromise. Ain't even a word. Like it's really y'all are gonna be going in the same direction. And the choices you want to make, more than likely the person is going to want to make it with you. Like, for example, Maya doesn't want to whip the kids. Like, she doesn't want to give them butt whoopings. Like, if Zion or the kids need to get, something, I'll give it to them. But you don't have to explain it. Like, it gotta, I don't want to be too long. We can talk about that in another video. Like, but, yeah, like, but I can see what her reason is. I could be creative and punish the kids in a more creative way, which I definitely will do. Like, she may not agree with butt whoopings, but I'm definitely. One time, my dad gave me a whipping with a brush, a hand brush with my hand. Oh, it was a hairbrush with my hand. Yeah, I may do something like that. Like, that's not a butt whooping.
I guess as long as
It's not gonna be that hard.
I guess I just better not ever see you tell the child to hold the book up to their chest and punch them. I better not ever see
It
that.
wasn't a butt whooping though. He was doing karate on me.
I don't want to see that either.
That's what my dad did to me, and I flew across the room. I couldn't breathe for like 2 minutes. But anyways, yeah. So like, yeah, it's just a lot of. It'd be different. If it was just one way that God did it with us, like, but it was a lot of ways how God confirmed and told us this is the one. Right? You got something?
Just even seeing each other the second time that night
At the church.
At the church, because
a New Year's Eve service.
Because I didn't even want to go. I wasn't gonna go to church, and the whole time I was out. Because like I've always gone to watch my service. I'm gonna go here. And I was gonna meet my mom and sister later at like afterwards at Miss Charlotte's house because they were doing something after. And I didn't want to go, so I didn't go at first. And the whole time I was out, I just had this overwhelming feeling that you need to be at church. I need you to go to like I didn't like audibly hear a voice say it, but I heard you need to be at the church. Go now to the church. So I left whatever party thing I was at, and by the time I got to the church and was going through the door, you were coming right out the door. You were right there.
And I only went to the church. It was New Year's Eve service at St. John Emmy Church. That's her home church. That's my home church as a kid. And like my father and dad, my dad and my grandfather got a lot of history there. My good daddy used to preach there. My dad's dad. And then my dad, he grew up there too, because my good daddy, my grandfather preached there. And then I was there for a time when my dad trained in the ministry before he was a pastor. He trained under Reverend Jones there when he preached there. So when mine was a baby, I was there. So I was 5 years old. She was 3. She was 3 when I saw her all the time. And so, like, I remember her. So, like, in college, like, we talked at the library. We said the story a few times, but at the library, that's where I met her again in college when she was a freshman and I was a sophomore, right? And so, and I recognized her. She looked just like her dad. So even if she got older, she looked just like her dad. So I don't know. I got a thing for women that look like their dad. So apparently, like, she's sexy. So I don't care. But yeah, like the first time around we talked, and it just didn't work out. Right? Just didn't work out. It's not anybody's fault. Well, yeah, it wasn't the right time anyway. So everything happens in God's time. But the second time around, like, I heard that there was a watch night service at St. John. My dad was preaching there. Reverend Singfield was there. My dad's best friend. That's when he was preaching at St. John when I graduated from college and when she was in college. And I just came back from Charlotte in 2018, moved back to Nashville, got let go from my job at Bank of America. Wanted to stay in Charlotte, but like circumstances just brought me back to Nashville, Tennessee, and heard New Year's Eve service that December of 2018. So it's about to be 2019 New Year's Eve service. And I was like, man, it's in St. John. Maya's probably gonna be there. Like, I have to go because Maya's there. I was talking to a girl from a dating app, and she went to college with us too, but I didn't know her in college like that. But she went to FCA. I was talking with her, and I told her I was going to St. John. And I don't know what made her go. She was there. Like, I was like, dang, like, so if Maya's here, like, I gotta finesse this. So like, I was able to get that other girl out the church, like, and go home, like, like as soon as church ended. And then I went back in when everybody was talking to look for Maya. Like, I had to find Maya. And she, like she said, when the door opened, when she came in, I was right there, like, because I was looking for her. right? And I still remember she had like a. Is that when you had the green church
the
coat?
green coat.
Yeah, she had the green top coat on, right?
You didn't need to see what I had underneath.
Yeah, she had it on all the way zipped up, and like when we saw each other that second time around, it was like y'all seen Hotel Transylvania where it's just a zing, and that means like when there's a zing between two people, that just means y'all are in sync, y'all are one. It's holy matrimony, like everything just flows. You don't have to force anything, like everything just goes together. It's like all the puzzle pieces can connect. It's like everything makes sense, right? And no matter what happens, like you are loved, you are valued, you are protected. Just like 1 Corinthians 13 said, love never fails. Love always protects, it always perseveres, it always hopes, it always endures, right? So yeah, it always trusts, right? Did I say that already? So yeah, love does these things and it's patient and kind. So like with Maya, I've always gotten that. Definitely the second time around, right? It was just more evident the second time around. And then we were both more susceptible to hearing it, like when it was said to us through the spirit, right? So like, yeah, like that's what love is. But like everybody's love is different. But the baseline, the foundation, that's it. It's a work of God. If you trying to force it with somebody, that's not a work of God. But like if it's already there, it's just something you can build on. Like that's the foundation. Then you can start building, right? So we already had that foundation. And that's what's funny. Like Maya, she said it in the first video, I think. She said she already did the work she needed to do before we got in a relationship with each other. And I did the work I needed to do for us to get in a relationship with each other. For us to have that foundation, like to build on, right? Like, so for example, for her, she was celibate for like 2 years or a year. For like 2 years, right? And then I wanted to be with a woman that was celibate, like, or at least, fasted to be with God and spend that time with God to get ready to be a wife and a mother. Like, I needed somebody who could understand me on that level, right? Because I was a 26-year-old virgin, right? And then I was ready to pounce on it too. So I just needed somebody who was willing to, do that too. So, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, everything just worked out, right? Everything I wanted, she wanted. Everything she wanted, I wanted. Like, I mean, yeah, honestly we never been in an argument and we never been in a disagreement really. But like, yeah, there's times we don't agree with each other, like with the whipping the kids or something. Like, but like, are we gonna fight about it? Like, she understands. Like, if something comes up, like if Zion ever hits her or try to stab her or something, well, we're gonna have a problem. So all right, so you guys see what I'm saying? All right. Vincent, I'm gonna read some of his comments. He said, "Flee from youthful lust. If we don't flee from it, our single. If we don't flee from it in our singleness, then we won't flee from it in marriage." That's what I was saying, guys. Like all the habits and tendencies that you have accumulated in your singleness. Like if you practice the wrong habits, like masturbation, watching porn, lusting after women, always talking to all these women on these dating apps. See, that's what I struggle with. I struggle with dating apps because in my singleness, that's what I did. And again, if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So like the stupid prize of winning that stupid game is you're always gonna think you're missing out on something, and that FOMO, you're always gonna be chasing it. When that shouldn't be what you should be chasing. Like that's a youthful lust, right? We have to nip in the bud the bad habits and bad tendencies, the negative thought process we have. Like so, like that youthful lust is honestly undealt with trauma, right? And I talked about that throughout all the videos, part 1 and part 2, and this is part 3. So all you need to know, just go watch those videos. All right, let's talk some more. I'm gonna keep on talking about the comments. This one also said, if you don't prepare in your singleness, you won't be prepared in marriage, right? So it's the same thing. How you practice is how you play, right? If you're saying you want to get married, you need to be practicing being married now. You need to prepare for marriage now. Like you don't wait for it then, right? You operate like you're single. If you operate like you're single now, you're gonna operate like you're single then. And honestly, that's a youthful lust I struggle with now. Like, so Maya knows that. Like, it's just something I have to work on, right? And if I love her, I'll do it, right? If not, I won't do it, right? And then also, I told you that's undealt with trauma again. So like, I'm not gonna just hurt her. I'm gonna hurt the kids too when they come. So yeah, I can't just operate how I used to operate in my singleness, like I'm still single. I'm not. So that's why, like, I posted this today. Integrating trauma in relationships is the key to healing. So you need to know what your weaknesses are. You need to call it out. You need to face your demons while they're there. before they show up in a way that surprises everybody, right? It's not you just dealing with it. Your spouse needs to help too. They need to know. You need to be able to talk to somebody about it. That's therapy and that's counseling. You don't have to wait for a therapist for this to happen. You can experience this now. So, this is gonna be good. Let's see what Amber said. All right. She said, I think I need to get rid of all the things that can be major stumbling blocks when we introduce another heart into the matter. I'm recovering from a heavy traumatic past. I wouldn't want to walk into my marriage placing that burden on my husband. He didn't abuse me. Yeah, and that's the whole point, guys. If you're still hurting, you're just gonna bleed on people who didn't hurt you and don't deserve it. And that's what so many people do. You know what I'm saying?
Which is something I wanted to make sure I dealt with before uh, the next person that I was with. Just with everything I dealt with my ex, I knew I needed to get to a place where trusting the next person wasn't going to be so hard. I needed to get to a place where I felt like I was worthy of someone loving me the way I thought or imagined I should be loved. Like I had to do that work before so that when the next person came around, I'd be ready to receive what they were going to give.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like, we're all going to have stuff we need to work on, like with Maya, like just tell her about herself. Like her thing she got to work on just embracing who she is too, just in a different way. So this is how we are equally yoked with each other. Like Maria says, she can see how equally yoked we are. This is how equally yoked we are. Like I struggle with something, but she struggled with the same thing, just in a different way. Like I'm the daytime, she's the nighttime, and the moon and the sun go hand in hand. Like the moon's a reflection of the sun, right? And so that's what a husband is for the wife, right? Like it's the same thing. It's crazy how God did it to us. Like everything just flows. So like, so I struggle with knowing my worth, right? Knowing if my looks like kind of, well, yeah, you can see what I'm saying. All right, so with her, she struggled with feeling like she's not enough. How did you say it in the card? Like, how do we reflect each other? Just say it like that.
I'm pretty sure I said like feeling like I would be enough for one person, or because I knew with my ex, obviously I wasn't, since there was always somebody else in the picture. So feeling like just me, would be enough.
No, that's not how you said it in the car. All right, so like, so like she's quiet, right? So with the YouTube thing, like she's scared to.
Oh, okay, yeah, that like.
You better say it right.
Not like not feeling like what I have to say is enough. Like, why would someone want to listen to me? Why is what I have to say important? How would what I have to say be helpful to someone? So,
yeah.
What I would say.
And that's why she doesn't talk. Like on the video, she think like I have the most profound thing to say. Just say it. Like do everything. That's what she does, right? But you hear it when she talks. She says something profound, right? And on a YouTube video, in a podcast, it doesn't need to ever be quiet. So like she has to get used to coming out of her shell. I don't have a problem with that. I can talk all day. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we compliment each other. That's one way, right? But I don't struggle with it in that way. I struggle with it in a different way. Like I feel like my looks aren't enough. I feel like the way I look on the outside sucks, right? She doesn't have that problem. So like she can help me with that area. I can help her with the other area. That's basically what I'm saying. And that's how it is in a lot of areas of our lives. Like we can be what each other needs because we understand what that person feels like, just in a different way. I'll use another example. It's actually a strength. You remember I told you guys, like, you are your strengths and you are your weaknesses. You are your experiences, and that's your mindset and your self-talk and stuff like that, right? So, like, I'll say it in a different way. Like, my favorite basketball player of all time is Kobe Bryant. I love basketball, right? Maya loves dancing. But I don't love basketball enough to be in the NBA and go through the hell that they go through for the money that they make. Like, I don't care to do that. Same thing for NFL. Like I like it a lot, but I don't want to do that kind of work. I just like playing. I don't even like playing basketball with people anymore. I like playing basketball by myself, just shooting, getting my workout in. Right? If I do in little kids, that's cool too. But I don't want to even do it competitively no more. I don't care. Right? Same thing for mine. Like she danced competitively before. She did all that stuff before, but like she doesn't care to do it like competitively or just like kill her body. Just do it for hell. Like, cause it ain't enough money that she could get to do it for that. It ain't even worth it to her, right? So it's the same thing for her, just in a different way. Like my person's Kobe Bryant, her person's Debbie Allen, and did Priscilla Shire dance or just her? I mean, the sister. Yeah, did she dance? Really. Okay, but she like Felicia Rashad too, the Cosby shows, because they both go together, right? They're both sisters, so like. She likes the Cosby Show. I don't know what I was gonna say with that. She don't really play for right now, but you guys see what I'm saying. So Kobe Bryant, Debbie Allen, dancing, basketball, same thing. So like that's all we're equally yoked, right? Like God was literally through all our experiences and everything we've been going through, like it's literally like the reflection of the other person. So we know how to serve the other person in the way that they need. So undealt with trauma ruins relationships. But handling, managing, dealing with, facing, and confronting trauma leads to whole, sane, complete, healthy relationships. But if you want to experience toxic relationships or bad relationships, just keep on being dishonest with who you are, right? And so this is why our relationship is so good. Like I know we're just starting off. Like I mean, we just got married, but like we've been together for almost 6 years. Yeah, so like since 2019, like New Year's service, right? Like we have, it's funny. We have talked to each other every day. Like we haven't gone a day without talking to each other. That's what mind blowing to me. Like we have texted each other and called each other every day since then. First time around, it's kind of on and off, but like it was still often. But this time around, like the second time, it's been not stuff. And I joked with her before the video. I said, "What are you gonna do? Block me?" She said, "If I did block you, all you gotta do is come downstairs on the phone." So yeah. Go ahead and say something. You got anything? But I'm gonna read Vincent's comment. Vincent also said, "If we cannot flee from youthful lust, there's a limit to how much God can use us." Oh Lord. He said, "We limit our usefulness to the master because we can't really say yes to the Father until we say no to some other things, lust." So yeah, you guys get that. Like every single day we get a choice. We can accept and embrace everything that God has for us, which is living in truth, living in honesty, dealing with the traumas and the experiences and just the good and the bad, like really figuring out what God did with that and what God has to say about it and receiving his truth and his revelation to what he wants to do with the trauma, the good and the bad and the ugly, right? Or we can just be like the world and repay evil with evil and hurt people who hurt us and like operate in a place of bitterness and hurt and pain. Like you can't do both. You can only do one or the other, right? You can operate from a healed place or you can operate from a blessed place. I mean, an awful place, a damned place, a place of damnation, right? Condemnation, right? So you got to say yes to the Father, yes, no to, or yes to the devil, right? You guys see what I'm saying? So like, yeah, your lust can ruin you, man. Like, let's just talk about that for a minute too. Like, you don't just. I need to figure out the root of why I lust after women so much, but you tend to lust after things. No, I don't. You tend to lust after things that you think you need, but you don't really need it, right? And I'm lusting after women, really women's approval. Like most of the time when people masturbate and watch porn, and I didn't get to say this in the other videos. I was trying to go here, but if you masturbate and you struggle with porn, really, you're just looking for a woman's approval. Like these women are, oh yeah, yeah. Like you're just looking for a woman's approval at the end of the day. Like you're just seeking a woman to say yes to you. Like, yes, you're enough. Yes, you satisfy me. Yes, like you're everything. Yes, yes, yes. Like that's what a man wants. Respect. That's what it boils down to. And so
the yes person is not respect.
Okay. Thanks for that point. But anyways, their yes will never be enough until you say yes to yourself. And God has already said yes to you. He's already approved of you. So it's better to go to him than those sources that can't really fulfill you and give and satisfy you and really give you what you truly want and desire and need, right? So we gotta flee from those kind of lusts, right? Because that's all they are lusts. Like it's things you're lusting for, but lust never fills us up. You guys get it, all right? So Vincent asked us, which we should do another video on it. This should be a question that we answer on another video. So, do you know each other's love language? Yeah, mine's words of affirmation. I think that's obvious with quotes and Bible verses I give all the time. Mine is quality time. So, yeah. Words of affirmation second though, right? Was it second? What's second? Quality time. Not acts of service.
That physical touch is the second.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Then words of affirmation third. Then I know it's right there. They're all pretty close though. It wasn't far off. Mine was far off. Mine's just words of affirmation, hands down above everything else. So.
Which is why I talk to you the way that I do. Which is why I give you the compliments that I give you.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be another video for another time talking about love language stuff. And then Vincent also said, the picture that you displayed, which was this one, so you guys can see it for the third video, just in case you ain't watching on the first video. So I talked about this photo right here. Choosing your partner is also choosing your fate. It's choosing your future, choosing your destiny. It's choosing what life's going to look like for you, right? And so Vincent said, like with this photo, he said the picture that you displayed regarding choosing your partner, you are choosing your future. I find it interesting. However, I want to mention about the person that appears to have a diamond necklace, but it's really a rope of bondage. Oh, everything that glistens isn't gold. How things appear aren't the way that what they really are, aren't the way they really are, right? That's how Satan works, right? He can trick us into think we're getting money. Like that's what women chase. All women want our money. I feel like, money and power, right? And as soon as they get the money, all they're putting themselves in is bondage, just like with Diddy. All right. So you saw him beat Casey, so yeah. That video sealed his fate right there. So, anyways, Vincent said I would add that a person that is blinded by their trauma would not be able to recognize it. See, that's the whole point, guys. Like if you operate from your, yeah, I'm writing this down. If you operate from a place of trauma, that's so good, Vincent. You won't be able to determine. Like I said, you won't be able to determine love in my post.
Discern what is.
Yeah, but you won't be able to discern what isn't love. Like, yeah, that's good. You won't be able to recognize. We already read everything, man. We made it. Oh, Anisha commented. She said, beautiful couple. That's my favorite right there. And then Amanda said, y'all are both perfect. Y'all both have inner beauty in the eyes of God and are enough. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. I went to high school, middle school. Amanda Clifton. All right, guys, that's the video. I'm done for today. I had a lot of energy. I hit you guys with 3 videos, right? Like, just imagine when I'm not in seminary school and I can just preach, I'm gonna be dangerous. And I'm not in board examiners for the training I'm going through to be a pastor in my denomination. Ooh, well, I'm gonna hit you guys with 3 videos all the time. I don't know if you guys are ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I'm tired now. Like normally it takes me 2 videos I get tired, but I'm tired after 3. You good? You said everything you want to say?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, quiet mouse. All right. So that's my wife. That's me. That's Maya Jenkins. I'm Sean Christopher Jenkins. So make sure if you want to watch way more, here goes our social media pages. We go live a lot on our YouTube channel, Uplift Past Crossroads. I'll tell you more about that. We're also on any podcast platform you can think of. Spotify, preferably go to there and subscribe to us if you like podcasts. But you can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google, Chromecast, wherever you get your podcast from. So Uplift Past Crossroads, the name. If you got any questions, DM us on our Facebook page of Sean Christopher Jenkins or Maya Jenkins, and we'll answer any questions that you ask us on DMs. And then also, here goes Maya's other Instagram page, Threads, and Twitter page right here. Here goes her other Instagram pages and her TikTok right here. So make sure to support her on her social media pages. Here goes all mine, my Instagram pages, and that's my Trouble Don't Last is my Twitter, Snap, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and also on my Tumblr, Trouble Don't Last #1. All right, so like I was saying, our Uplift Past Crossroads, our YouTube channel, it's the greatest YouTube channel ever. I think this is our 506th video, maybe 507th. I don't know what it is like, but we got a whole lot of videos for you guys, right? Let's go with 507. All right, so yeah, but maybe 508. There's 3 videos for today. We went in. All right, so we got way more for you guys. You go to our YouTube channel, Uplift Past Crossroads. You can get your feel of anything you want. So I got a whole lot of playlists. So based on what you like and watch, all you gotta do is just look in the description to find more videos on whatever you're looking for. So you want more marriage advice, check out this playlist, right? If you want more relationship advice, check out this playlist. I also have another playlist on our YouTube channel, Uplift Past Crossroads, titled Dating Advice. If you want to hear Maya talk way more with me, go to this playlist, the Jenkins, Miami. That's our slogan right there, Miami. That's going to be the brand too, by the way. All right. So yeah, we got a clothing line we started. We're going to do more with that too. That's in the description of the video as well. And then also, if you want to, face your childhood trauma, get more sermons and messages about childhood trauma, check out this playlist on our YouTube channel, Uplift Past Crossroads. If you want to face your fears, face your demons, face your childhood trauma and all those things, check out this playlist to hear all the sermons and Bible studies and messages we've done on that. If you're single, you want more messages, you can listen to this playlist and watch all the videos on there as well. And then lastly, 1 Corinthians 13, check out that playlist. And you can get your feel of everything 1 Corinthians 13. That's what we covered for the video. Make sure to tell people about our, social media pages. We work really hard on them. We're going to hit you guys with everything we got, right? And if you enjoyed this video and there's 3 videos, right? We did a whole lot for you guys. I'm tired now. So, bless other people with this video. Tell people that have bad relationships to watch this video, that haven't faced the trauma to watch this video. All right, you guys got it. All right. We'll see you guys later. I'm spending time with my wife because I got to work, this week. I'm tired. All right. Bye. You got anything?
Bye, Uplifters. We'll see